review session, Wednesday, July 17th, 2019. We have no ordinances on second reading. We have ordinances on first reading. One, an ordinance to amend and supplement the revised general ordinance of the city of New Brunswick, Title 10, Vehicle Traffic, Chapter 1020, Handicap Parking, Section 1020-010, Schedule 39, Parking Zone for Handicapped Person, add 376 Livingston Avenue, 46A, Chester Circle. Number two, an ordinance to amend and supplement the revised general ordinance of the city of New Brunswick, Title 10, Vehicles and Traffic, Chapter 1012, Traffic Control Regulations, Section 1012-040, Schedule 6, Stop Intersections, delete intersection of Roosevelt Street and Henry Street, stop sign on Roosevelt Street, and add intersection of Roosevelt Street and Henry Street with the stop sign on Henry Street. Three, an ordinance to amend and supplement the revised general ordinance of the city of New Brunswick, Title 15, Building and Construction, in regard to construction code fees. We then have resolutions 1 through 44. Number one, approve agenda minutes. Two, approve payroll 6/22/19, 7/5/19. Three, authorize refund for redeemed tax sale certificates. Four, approve ABC liquor license renewals 2019-2020. Five, approve amendment of resolution R051920. The reason change August date to Sunday, August 11, 2019. Approve request for use of city property requested by Elijah Promise, location Joyce Gilmore Park, for the Mercado Esperanza Market, date Sunday, August 11, 2019, time 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Six, approve request for use of city property requested by the New Brunswick Cultural Center for the 5th annual Of City Sounds Corazon Latino Festival, Joyce Gilmore Park, Sunday, October 27, 2019, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Seven, authorize tax collector to transfer overpayments on several tax and utility accounts. Number 8 is being held. Number 9, approve renewal of liquor license with special ruling for C&T 1 LLC, inactive liquor license number 121433 077014 2019-2020. 10, approve chapter 159 budget insertion, New Jersey Department of Highway Traffic Safety for fiscal year 2020 street smart pedestrian amount $49,000. 11, approve Chapter 159 budget insertion, State of New Jersey, for 2019 Clean Communities Grant, amount $64,377.81. Number 12, approve Chapter 159 budget insertion, Rutgers Community Health, for Play Safe and Color Our City Beautiful, amount $30,000. 13, approve Chapter 159 budget insertion, State of New Jersey, for 2019 Summer Food Service, amount $503,442.44. 14, approve Chapter 159 budget insertion, State of New Jersey for 2019 Safe and Secure Communities, amount $60,000. 15, approve Chapter 159 budget insertion, State of New Jersey for alcohol education, rehab, and enforcement, amount $8,117.84. Number 16, approve Chapter 159 budget insertion, Middlesex County for 2019 Arts Grant, amount $4,500. Number 17, approve Chapter 159 budget insertion, Middlesex County 2019 Arts and History, digitalization, amount $2,600. Number 18, approve Chapter 159 budget insertion, Middlesex County, for visual art contest exhibition project, amount $3,800. 19, approve Chapter 159 budget insertion, State of New Jersey, Department of Transportation for Handy Street, amount $535,871. Number 20, authorize purchase by data processing coordinator under New Jersey State approved co-op 65MCES CCPS. The Educational Services Commission of Jersey pricing system from CW Government Incorporated for one Apple laptop computer with accessories for data processing, not to exceed $2,533.04. 21, approved purchase by Police Department of State Contract A 87720/M 7000 data communications equipment with SHI International Corporation for software for the Police Department, not to exceed $1,971. 22 is being held. 23, authorize refund to U.S. Bank custodian for Power TV 8 in the total amount of $1,377.02 against Block 255, Lot 003, 47 Georges Road. 24, approve award of contract with DGL Raptopoulos Incorporated, doing business as Mako Collision Repair and Auto Painting for automotive body repairs for the Police Department, 12-month period commencing August 6, 2019 and ending August 5, 2020. Specification number 76A819P, not to exceed $35,000. 25, approve award of contract with Suburban Consulting Engineers Incorporated for tank rehabilitation and painting inspection services for the water utility. specification number 772, 19 RFP, not to exceed $59,600, fair and open. 26, approve award of contract with J. Swanton Fuel Oil Company Incorporated, furnish and deliver fuel oil and diesel for the water utility, 12-month period commencing July 19, 2019 and ending July 18, 2020. Specification number 75919P, not to exceed $22,000. 27, approve award of contract with Ryan Supply Company to furnish and deliver gate valves and applicants for the water utility, a 12-month period commencing July 19, 2019 and ending July 18, 2020. Specification number 75819W, not to exceed $70,000. 28, approve amendment of resolution R031941, change the inflatable company to Eddie and Stone, doing business as Eddie's Amusement, and add 3 food vendors. Approve request for the use of city property requested by Variditas Coca-Cola, Joyce Kilmer Park, for a cultural festival Sunday, July 21st, 2019, with rain date Sunday, July 28, 2019, date of Sunday, September 15, 2019, rain date Saturday, September 22nd, 2019, time 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. Police extra duty. 29, approve request for use of city property requested by the Hyacinth AIDS Foundation, location War Memorial Park for National Night Out, community information for HIV/AIDS prevention in English and Spanish, Tuesday, August 6, 2019, time 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. 30, approve request for street closing requested by Rutgers University, Robert Wood Johnson Medical School, partial closing with barricades leaving 1 lane open on Livingston Avenue between New and George Street for RWJ Medical School White Coat Ceremony, welcoming first-year medical students at the State Theater, Friday, August 2nd, 2019, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m., police extra duty. 31, approve amendment of resolution R021953, change order number 2, contract C, with JTG Construction Incorporated for Wilcox Road, Rutgers Village Water Main Replacement Project, Phase 2, contract C, specification number 62517W, amount of $7,390.40. Approval of this change order will not constitute an increase of 20% or more of the amount of the original contract. 32, approve resolution supporting the Equality Act. 33, approve amendment of resolution R081813, reason 1-year contract extension with Wireless Electronics Incorporated, doing business as Wireless Communications and Electronics, for radio maintenance for the fire department, 12-month period commencing August 6, 2019 and ending August 5, 2020. Specification number 68918P, not to exceed $8,000. 34, approve amendment to resolution R061908, a reason to pay additional legal fees in the amount of $2,490 to Benedict Dalton for representation of Police Director Anthony Caputo in the matter of Dion Napier versus the City of Brunswick et al. From $13,070 to $15,560. 35, approve resolution to refer a development plan for the area located at 90, 100, 120, and 200 Jersey Avenue to the Planning Board for review and report. 36, approve resolution to refer amendments to the Land Development Code to the Planning Board for review and report. 37, approve resolution to refer amendments to the Zoning Board permit fee schedule to the Planning Board for review and report. 38, authorize award of professional service agreement with Eurofins QC LLC for 2019 industrial waste analysis not to exceed $13,482 on Proton. 39, approve resolution to extinguish liquor license Rutgers Club, liquor license number 1214310990001. 40, approve amendment resolution R121812, supplemental services number 5 with Remington, Vernick, and Vina Engineering for licensed site remediation professional for site environmental services, amount $13,650. 41, approve renewal of liquor license with special ruling for Lobano Incorporated Inactive, liquor license number 1214330720006, 2019-2020. 42, approve authorization to advertise for 2019 traffic line striping, specification number 932-19. 43, approve authorization to advertise for 2019 furnish and deliver regulatory signs, specification number 93319. 44, authorize payment of requisition number 6 for project costs for the Cultural Center project theater component with Cultural Center Redevelopment Association, Urban Renewal LLC, CO, in the run care of the Brunswick Development Corporation, $1,797,215.58. We have items for discussion by council. 1, a discussion of Los Angeles America Cinco de Mayo event, May 4, 2019, and number 2, a discussion of open space trust funds. Okay, come to order, call the roll.
Councilmember Egan.
Here.
Councilmember Escobar.
Here.
Councilmember Fleming.
Here.
Council Vice President Socorro Ludwig.
Here.
Council President Anderson.
Here. Please be advised that the notice requirements of the Open Public Meeting Act is complied with and satisfied at the annual notice, which gave sufficient notice of the time and place and conduct of all public meetings in the municipal council of the city of New Brunswick has been filed with the city clerk, has been placed on the appropriate bulletin board in the lobby of City Hall, New Brunswick, New Jersey, and has been transmitted to the official newspaper of the city of New Brunswick, namely the Home News Tribune. Please stand for the reading of the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
A moment of silence for our men and women serving our armed forces, especially away, for those who died, those who have come back hurt. Thank you.
Make a motion to approve the minutes from June 10th.
Second.
Councilmember Egan.
Yes.
Councilmember Escobar.
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming.
Yes.
Council Vice President Socorro Ludwig.
Yes.
Council President Anderson.
Yes. Report on correspondence. City Clerk's office.
Yes. Item 1, a letter from the NJDEP in regards to a 1,000 gallon number 2 heating oil underground storage tank system at 103 Easton Avenue. Item 2, a letter from the City of New Brunswick, Office of the City Attorney in regards to Persive Inc. doing business as Mi Tierra Bar and Restaurant, liquor license number 1214-33-047-005. Item 3, a letter from members of the Mercata Esperanza in regards to the Cinco de Mayo event. The correspondence will be forwarded to the appropriate departments for further action.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We have no readings on second reading, really. First reading, number 1, an ordinance to amend and supplement the revised general ordinances of the city of New Brunswick, Title 10, Vehicles and Traffic, Chapter 1020, Handicap Parking, Section 10-2010, Schedule 39, Parking Zones for handicapped persons, adding 376 Livingston Avenue and 46A Chester Circle.
Move the ordinance setting on Wednesday, August 7th, 5:30 p.m., same date to be advertised.
Second.
Councilmember Egan.
Yes.
Councilmember Escobar.
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming.
Yes.
Council Vice President Socorro Ludwig.
Yes.
Council President Anderson.
Yes. Number 2, an ordinance to amend and supplement the revised general ordinances of the city of New Brunswick, Title 10, Vehicles and Traffic, Chapter 1012, Traffic Control Regulations, Section 1012-040, Schedule 6, Stop Intersections, delete intersection of Roosevelt Street and Henry Street with the stop sign on Roosevelt Street, add the intersection of Roosevelt Street and Henry Street with the stop sign on Henry Street.
Move the ordinance setting on Wednesday, August 7th, 5:30 p.m., same date to be advertised.
Second.
Councilmember Egan.
Yes.
Councilmember Escobar.
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming.
Yes.
Council Vice President Socorro Ludwig.
Yes.
Council President Anderson.
Yes. Number 3, an ordinance to amend and supplement the revised general ordinances of the city of New Brunswick, Title 15, Buildings and Construction in regards to construction code fees.
Move the ordinance setting on Wednesday, August 7th, 5:30 p.m., same date to be advertised.
Second.
Councilmember Egan.
Yes.
Councilmember Escobar.
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming.
Yes.
Council Vice President Socorro Ludwig.
Yes.
Council President Anderson.
Yes. Okay, we have resolutions 1 through 44, not including number 8 or 22. Any member from the public who wishes to talk about any of the resolutions listed here, please come to the microphone, give your name and address. You have up to 5 minutes, 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. President. Charles Prattville, New Brunswick today. First of all, I'd like to ask about 944 on page 3. It's the software for the police department. Can you tell me what kind of software? For what purpose?
Software just makes the radios operate. Police radios.
Radios we can listen to?
That's correct.
955, the Equality Act. I want to say this sounds like a really good piece of legislation. I'm glad to see my elected representatives supporting it. 957 is a police lawsuit against the police, additional legal fees for Benedict and Altman. Is that the firm that I heard the lawyer was leaving, or? No?
No.
That was the other one last time. I get them confused. And I do want to ask about the next three items, all these things. So, first of all, about 958, the redevelopment plan. I guess you're trying to get something going at 90 Jersey Avenue. Isn't that the Puerto Rican Action Board headquarters?
Just jump in. Yes, my understanding is that they may be looking to move, and we're actually taking into consideration 90, 100, 120, and 200 goes out to the Rompelonc site, which is a brownfield, and we're exploring options to redevelop it, so we're sending it to the planning board for hopeful referrals to get studied.
Thank you for the explanation. Can you tell me, are any of these sites contaminated?
Which sites?
The 90, 100, 120, and 200?
200 is almost assuredly a brownfield site. I can't speak to the other ones.
Thank you. And then the next two, what's going on here? Is this an increase in the fees or the charges?
So as far as 959, we're amending some language in the Land Use Code Title 16 for clarity, and we are increasing our escrow fees by pretty much 50% across the board. It's a hard number, and it's not like a formula in there, but that's what we're doing to all the numbers. We've been finding that we've been spending a lot of time going back to our applicants to get more escrow fees. It's been probably over a decade since we've updated the escrow fees, and as such, the cost for our board planner and board engineers has gone up, and we're finding that the escrows just aren't lasting long enough, and so we're opting to increase the escrow. And as for the following one, with regard to the zoning permit fee, again, we are adding a resubmission fee for denials. Well, we're presenting to the planning board, rather. Right now, we have a flat rate. Well, flat rates what we're looking to do is provide 30 days free that you can come back and resubmit, and then afterwards it'll be a new number which is reflective of 60% of the original fee. It takes us a lot of time. After 30 days, things get filed away. We spend a lot of time getting things out, and you just want to reflect the cost of the time to do the labor.
Thank you. And just real quick, going back to that first of the three, when will there be the hearing that's authorized? Does planning board have a date in mind?
For the study, we haven't put out notice yet, but it's intended to be on the August 12th, so the planning board for August.
Thank you. I want to ask on the page 6 here, what is this industrial waste analysis at the top? What's the purpose of this?
Pleases the council, the city currently has 5 industrial waste customers. This is a contract where we do a monthly sampling of the effluent, and they are charged accordingly based on the water quality results of the sampling.
Okay. If I follow up, I can get a list of the 5?
Yeah, I can present it to you at a later time.
Thank you. The next one is extinguishing the liquor license for the Rutgers Club. This hasn't happened in my time here. How does that work?
Because the Rutgers Club is moving to Piscataway.
Yes, it did.
That no longer, I would imagine that's the idea.
So what happens? Is there an auction for the license? Or?
No, it's a club license. The license actually was reissued, my understanding, by the ABC to operate in Piscataway. The nature of the license is such that it has no value. The ABC wanted us to do a little housekeeping and actually do a resolution extinguishing it for purposes of its existence, and that's exactly what this resolution intends to do.
Thank you. Then the next one is LSRP for site environmental services. Can you tell me which site?
Yes, this is a continuing site, 2 locations. One is the 400 Jersey Avenue DPW. There was a series of USTs that were removed a number of years ago. There's 2 sampling follow-ups with respect to that. In addition, there is some additional sampling required for the for New Brunswick Police site off of the highway.
Okay. And then the final item on the resolutions, I do want to ask about this requisition number 6, another $1.79 million for Defco's project in the backyard here. Is this the final payment, or is there going to be more?
No.
I don't think so, but obviously, we can check that and get back to you. But this is the payouts for that particular project, the city's portion of the expense, which is close to being done, as you can all see.
I noticed, and I do need to ask, is part of the city's assistance in that project dependent on them, paying the prevailing wage, following those requirements? I know some of the tax credits are subject to that.
Yes.
Okay, and in that case, what does the council have to say in response to the allegations that they were sneaking in workers who weren't in the union, not getting paid the prevailing wage? I know there was a protest last Monday about that. What does the council have to say about that? Are you investigating to see if they follow the laws or the rules in this case for these assistants?
I believe they had their discussions and they ironed everything out.
Well, that's, the allegations were still made. Is the council investigating them or no?
We're not specifically, but we have individuals that are looking into it.
The people that were investigating it were the people that felt that they were being violated or being wrongful to, and that would be the carpenters union, I believe.
Yes.
So they took it upon themselves to do, it's up to them, it's the only one that are filing the complaint. So I believe everything has been, as far as I know, settled between them and the contractor.
Okay, well, I think the city has given extraordinary levels of support for this development. More than I've ever seen before. You basically gave them a tax abatement and the money to pay the limited taxes that they still have to pay. And that's in addition to other public funding that's going towards this project. I think the least the council can do is investigate the allegations that are now on the record. I hope you'll do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Hi, yes, Danielle Moore, 333 Somerset Street. I would like to put on resolution item 11, that's for the $64,000 where it says clean communities. We all know that New Brunswick needs to be clean, so how is this really going to help, and when will we know that New Brunswick will really start being clean?
Best to clean it up.
So what is this for? What will we use the money for? For equipment? What?
This is money that has come in for a grant that was already applied for earlier in the year. I don't have the details of the grant in front of me, so I couldn't give you any information tonight.
Well, I surely hope that it will help start cleaning New Brunswick up, because like I said, New Brunswick's mighty dirty and smelly. As far as number 14, that's with the $60,000 to make it safe and secure the communities.
I believe this is funding that goes toward salaries for 2 police officers.
Wow, interesting. And I thought it would be more to make New Brunswick safe, but okay, thank you.
The police makers. Anybody else? Seeing none?
Move the resolutions.
Second. Councilmember Egan.
Yes.
Councilmember Escobar.
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming.
Yes.
Council Vice President Socorro Ludwig.
Yes.
Council President Anderson.
Yes. We have items for discussion by council. Number 1, a discussion of lunch for Americana Union Cinco de Mayo event that was held May 4th, 2019.
Mr. Council President, members of council, as you will recall from the last meeting, there was discussion regarding an incident that occurred at the May 4th, 2019 event that was held by Los America Unida. They were present with council. I think I see Ms. Navarre and council here in the chamber. Council was concerned about obtaining all the information and documentation for their full and thorough review of the incident before they took any type of action relative to the incident. And it's my understanding, as requested, that not only was a video supplied that was fairly produced at the time of this incident by someone who Ms. Navarre was familiar with. I suspect that's how we got the video. But there was also documentation, a certification submitted through council to the clerk's office by close of business last Monday. That information in the video has been disseminated to the council. I know that everyone had an opportunity to review both. The law department has, Mr. Katniss, who started his review of the matter, has also reviewed that. With respect to your investigation or review of the matter, tonight would be time for you to report back. Obviously, if you would want to hear from anyone or have any questions that would remain, certainly I'm sure the representative of the organization, Ms. Braunstein, I'm sure would answer those questions. A point of note on our council communications through the clerk's office, number 3 was actually a letter that was just received by the city clerk and also given to the council this afternoon from 3 particular vendors who were involved in the event. It was Ferreira, Alcerio, and Vidal. Those particular individuals put together a letter with their position as to what occurred. For the record, a copy of that letter, just because we weren't sure if it was forwarded to council for the organization, it was given to them here this evening. So it's up to the council as to how you want to proceed. This technically isn't a hearing, it's always been a discussion. It's been a discussion revolving around concerns that the council had relative to the health department's inspections of the vendors for that particular event on that particular day.
Mr. Navarre and council, if you're available, could you come to the mic?
Yes, Teresa Vivar.
Thank you. Do you have anything else to add before I ask you questions?
No, it's okay.
Okay.
I wanna.
The next event that you have is this Sunday?
The next, yes, the lowriders car show.
And this is your group?
This is one of the groups we support.
Support, okay. But you're in charge?
Well, we submit the application and we collaborate with them. So yes.
Okay. According to the information given, there's supposed to be possibly one caterer.
Yes, I think we did submit the letter. I have a copy of the catering. You want to see it?
And they will be cooking there or what?
No. It's gonna be a restaurant.
Restaurant.
Yes.
And you understand about the parking situation along the roads during Bugalo Park?
Yes, the group is already working with the recreation department to, they know where the parks are gonna be, where the place, they're gonna host the anniversary meeting, everything.
Okay. And then, should this event go forward, you understand that the health department will be checking with the caterer?
Yes, we have a copy of the invoice from the vendor.
Okay, it's just the one caterer?
Yes.
Yes.
Who are you working with at the recreation department?
With
Who
who?
is that? That you said that you're working with the club?
Actually, yes, somebody from the recreation department, Mr. Herman, I think it is the name, is the one who has been taking the group to the visitations to the park to review.
Recreation.
Yeah. From the address is in 411 and Triskelman.
There's no cooking in the park, he's already cooking, isn't he?
No, it's around 150 people that are meeting. There's their anniversary.
Is there an admission charge?
I'm sorry?
Is there any admission charge? Or
No. It's just
just look at
the
the park?
club, yes.
Look at the nice park. Yes, anything?
Not at this time.
Not this time. And the second event is coming up in August, I believe?
August 4th, the Guelaguetza.
Yeah, could you explain that?
Okay, this is a gathering of different indigenous groups that lives in New Jersey, and they come from different parts of, not only New Brunswick, but different parts of New Jersey, and they indigenous groups, so they meet New Brunswick every year. This is already, we have 11 years of this event in New Brunswick. This is the first event that we're doing without the New Brunswick Cultural Center. We're doing it ourselves. Do the application I mean. And then we invite vendors to attend the event, to submit applications as well. Well, that's it. That's all that I can say. It's dance, music, art. It's basically that. It's very indigenous.
And these vendors pay?
The vendors, actually the vendors as well as every year we do different sessions, meetings in which they decide based on the amount of people that we're gonna bring and the expenses that we're gonna have, how much they're gonna be putting everybody in order to have the event, because as you noticed in the prior budget statement that we gave you on the Cinco de Mayo, based on if we got grants, then the money that they gotta pay is less. If we have donations as well, or kids that are here, some of them, they fundraise as well as the families in order to have these events, because we don't get too many grants to do these events. Some of them are very costly, some of them we get, as I said, Middlesex County grants, so this minimize the amount that the vendors have to pay. Some of them decide, for example, if they choose providing information, they decide what donation they want to provide to that, and as you saw also in the budget, we say it, they receive it, they get a receipt, and we have to put it in the list of donations.
Okay. And they pay by check, cash?
Well, some of them pay by cash, and we notice we put that in the receipt. Other was money order or check, but basically most of them pay by check and money orders.
That's paid out to Lazos America?
Lazos America Unida, and some of them prefer to put it to the New Brunswick City, but usually they give it to us.
Who fills out the paperwork? Who does the paperwork for the license?
No, they gotta fill out the applications. Only if,
They do it themselves?
yeah, they do it themselves.
Well, let me stop you right there, because the letter we received today, paragraph number 2, let me read it out loud, and I'll quote from the paragraph. None of us ever filled out, signed, or reviewed a food handler license application or any other city paperwork with anyone from Lazarus. We only paid a cash fee directly to Teresa Navarre to participate. How do you respond to that?
Well, for that we have, Lazos America Unida has videos, we have cameras in our offices, and we have proof that they has been in the many meetings, and they part of, because we buy all the vendors and volunteers to attend, because without them we cannot do the event. They gotta be very understandable of that.
That's not what I'm asking you. Why didn't you said they fill out all the paperwork, and they're saying they didn't fill out the paperwork.
No, what I'm saying is that if this letter I got just a few minutes ago, I read the letter. It's very obvious for me that they've been pressured for whatever happened. I don't want to wait. I don't understand.
How could you feel pressure from something you read? I mean, I just want to know how you respond. Why you filled out? Who filled out the paperwork for the?
I told you already.
Let me ask you a question. Let me make it simple. Who filled out did you fill out anybody's paperwork that's a food vendor for the Cinco de Mayo event? Did you fill out any paperwork for a vendor yourself?
I said again.
It's a yes or no answer.
Well, I don't have to say something that is not true. I told you that people have to fill out the applications. They have to send either they gotta come and put it here directly to them, or they gotta do it on Lazo side. If they need help, they have to sign anyway the documents. They gotta sign it. I have people that already did it for the other event. They have to, we help them, for example, to translate, because many time ago I asked even the fire department if they have the applications in Spanish. I have to help them to say what I have to write, what is filled out, and I recognize my letter.
I don't know if you know, our city clerk is Spanish, so if they want to come down, they can explain it to her, they have to speak Spanish. I'm asking you, did you fill out the paperwork or not? People say that they didn't fill out any paperwork at all.
And I probably gotta ask them to come to the court and say that in court, because it's not the first time that we do these events. If they need help, they have to say it, and we tell them, they have to sign it.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, they said they paid a cash fee and they got receipts for that?
Everybody, and I have my books that says, and it says the number also, everybody has to receive for any cash that they give the receipt.
Here, I'll make one other comment. There's also in the video where the health inspector tells you that every food vendor has to have their certificate at their particular station. Am I correct?
Yes.
They asked you to provide that. You had all the paperwork in your hand. It's on the video. You have it all in your hand. You have everybody's permit in your hand. And you won't even, and she tells you that they have to have it, and you say in the video that you don't want to do it.
One question, Mr. Riga. Do you?
I'm just telling you what I saw in the
Yes,
video.
right, so my question.
Why do you have everybody's paperwork?
My question to you is, do you saw the video? And do you hear my statement in the video?
After the fact.
I was saying, I have the applications here that I submit to the clerk. But I don't see the blue card permits that you asked me for these 3 vendors and other vendors. I didn't know why, and I said in the video as well, if it was my mistake, I lose it or something, I'm gonna find out on Monday. But if they didn't give it to me, I'm gonna find out as well. So that I came to the next day, the following week, to find out. And the city clerk downstairs told me they didn't give it to me, the blue cards of these vendors, because they did Brunswick vendors. That's why they didn't give it to me. So if you saw the video and you also saw my budget that I gave it to you, the copy of the budget, you should see the businesses that are listed, all of them that are on the Brunswick, including those that are supposed to be cooking on site, have the blue card permit. Less those vendors. Those 3 vendors and other 3 or 4 businesses from New Brunswick, they don't have a blue card.
Okay. You. Everybody else? Yeah. Close.
May I speak to the council?
Council wants to make a statement.
Yes, please.
Going back to the subject of the letter we received today, are the evidences that we provided to you, Exhibit C, the permit applications, those 3 applications of the vendors who sent the letter are all in evidence and signed in 3 completely distinct hands. And I think that that undercuts some of the allegations in that letter, because clearly they reviewed and signed these petitions, or permit applications. And if you have them, I have the 3 right here, if you'd like to see.
Oh, yeah.
We have it.
Yeah. Thank you.
I also feel, and that is for the records, this is very sad for me to have this conversation because the vendors want to sell. They go through a process. I don't have to lie, they don't have to be on the side knowing that they're doing something wrong and that they want to be asked to leave. I don't know what happened there, and I would love to help them, and I ask them to come to the meetings. They're welcome to come back. I have nothing against the vendors. I'm here to help them. Which is sad is that I see that many of us are not fully responsible for what we do with these people. We don't take responsibility about what's going on, and we want to blame others for something that maybe is a mistake, maybe something is going on, which I still don't know. But it's really sad for me to read this letter because I know they didn't wrote that. And I'm not here to make any problems for anybody here. I came here to support the people and work with the city. I'm not here against you. I'm not here against no vendors, no organizations. But what I'm saying is, these problems have to stop. And they stop very easily. We need translators, bilingual, or at least bilingual officers. We need papers in Spanish and English so they can fill out those forms. Don't matter if the city clerk speaks Spanish or not. We need to have those forms there. So everybody understand what the complications are about selling out there. From our end, so when somebody comes and they don't have where to cook, and this is for the video, if you don't have a place where to cook, come and ask us, and we look for any kitchen that is available for you to do the proper way. You don't have to lie. You don't have to put yourself in this situation or lie about this against another organization trying to help you. This is not good. And I'm here to present to you because I feel responsible, and I'm here to, with all my people here, because I'm teaching these kids to be responsible for their actions. The other groups are not here, and they never give us, and I send an invitation to meet with us and clarify the situation. They never met with us. And that's sad, because when we have problems like this, that the community members are doing something wrong, we should meet as directors of organizations and find out how to help people, not to put them in all this situation and damage the image, or try to damage the image of another organization that is in the community here. These kids that are here, I'm teaching them what is responsible about. And also that I don't have to go down or look down because somebody is saying something and their word is more important than mine or yours. All of them contribute for every event. We have to fundraise for events. So I want to just say that, and I'm hearing that my.
We obviously have a difference of
I
opinion
have
with
another
this letter,
question.
right? We have a difference of opinion with this letter, obviously, right? Two different stories.
You wrote down that all the food was being prepared at Eliza's Promise Kitchen.
I
None
never
of the
said that.
food. It's written down on the paperwork.
I never said that.
You wrote some of the food.
It's 3 vendors only that wrote that in the application. The rest of them are people that are already out of their business, their restaurants, and only one food vendor or 2 food vendors are on their last name, and they're on site cooking.
And I think this all started with the Middlesex County health people trying to do their job, and it just didn't work. This is the first time we've had it. We've been in business for years and years and years.
I mean,
And that's where it all
this is
started.
years.
And on that video, at least to me, it didn't seem like there was a back and forth. It was basic discussion, but it didn't look like the lady was getting into anybody's face or anything. She was just trying to do her job. And so it's just a difference, you know, the way you can look at the video.
Well, again, there is, there were people there, many people there, that's all the whole situation, some of them are here. And I think also 2 freeholders were there. Also, this is not the first time that we're doing these events. It's also not the first time that we're asking for support in all these issues. It's not the first time also that we also said that we want to support, to translate any documents that is possible. I spoke also with the director of the Middlesex County Health Department, also somebody, right? And they sent us already all the paperwork that they have for the vendors in Spanish, and they're willing to cooperate with us. They already sent us the next serve session. So we want to send these vendors to whatever they're gonna do, but honestly, I don't make money from vendors. So why I have to put yourselves in all these situations if I don't make myself money from it?
Yeah, you indicated you didn't make money from anybody else, right?
I present the budget to you. LASOS is a volunteer-based organization. We do what we can, and we have to cooperate, all of us, to make these events. But if it's for some reason some of them are not doing properly, then I understand. Actually, the lady left. The lady that was part of that video, the problem, they left. So the health department officer asked her to leave, so they left.
Okay. And you also indicated before that you did go to classes
Yes.
for the Middlesex County runs for the food establishing guidelines.
Yes.
And everything like that. And you get a certificate for that?
Yes. Actually, Ms. Smith gave it to me.
Okay. And do you have the name of the caterer for Sunday?
Yes.
Yeah. Should we get that? Yeah. Make a motion to go.
If that's the council's pleasure to go into closed session, you make a motion in a second, and for the record, we're going into closed session to discuss the information obtained and reviewed with the potential action relative to prior authorization for this organization. And the reason we do a closed session is organizations represented by council, could be potential litigation.
Make a motion to go into closed session?
Second.
Councilmember Egan.
Yes.
Councilmember Escobar.
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming.
Yes.
Council Vice President Socorro Ludwig.
Yes.
Council President Anderson.
Yes. Right back. Come back.
Closely.
Wait.
Motion is a second.
Hang on for Councilman Fleming.
Make a motion to go back into open session.
Second.
Councilmember Egan.
Yes.
Councilmember Escobar.
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming.
Yes.
Council Vice President Socorro Ludwig.
Yes.
Council President Anderson.
Yes. Closed session order.
Yes, for purposes of the minutes of closed session, the record will reflect that the council discussed the closed session, the documentation received, the testimony and comments heard by Ms. Navarre, her council, members of the council who had questions. They've reviewed the contents of resolutions R-051921, which is a resolution providing authorization for an event on July 21st, 2019, as well as R-051921, which, R-051919, which provided authorization for 3 events, one being the Cinco Mayo event, the second one being an event to be held on August 4th, and the third one for an event to be held on September 14th, all by the Lazlos America Unida organization. That will consist of the closed session minutes. It's my understanding the council has a motion with respect to R-051921, which is council's resolution, which was adopted back on May 1st, 2019, whereby this council provided authorization for the July 21st, 2019 event. That particular resolution states that the organization, Lazlos, will be permitted to have the event catered by one catering service to be determined. It's my understanding from a review of documentation recently received by the organization that the organization has selected Hamilton Grill as a caterer. Through the testimony of Ms. Navarre here this afternoon, she's indicated that there will be no food to be sold, no food to be purchased by anyone in connection with this particular event and this particular catering service. It's my understanding a member of council may have a motion with respect to the amendment of that condition in this particular resolution as set forth.
I think there was no admission charge, there was no charge.
Well, that as well, I believe, was stated. No admission charge, no charge for the food, no fees whatsoever.
Sure, I make a motion that we allow the applicant to proceed for that event this Sunday, as stated by the city attorney and by Ms. Navarre.
Second. Roll call.
Councilmember Egan.
Yes.
Councilmember Escobar.
No.
Councilmember Fleming.
Yes.
Council Vice President Socorro Ludwig.
No.
Council President Anderson.
Yes.
Okay, having heard the roll call and the vote, the motion carries, the resolution amendment would carry. Therefore, Ms. Navarre and the Lazlos organization could hold the event on Sunday, July 21st. Be it known here in public, in the minutes of the council meeting, that food will not be sold, admission will not be charged, and there will be one caterer, specifically the Hamilton Grill, as stated by the organization. Now, with respect to R-051919, as stated a few minutes ago, this particular resolution authorizes, well, actually 3 events that are authorized, one which has come and gone, but the 2 pending events would be that event to occur on August 4th, Sunday, the festival, and another one on September 14th, 2019, which is entitled Our Roots Festival. With respect to these particular events, the applicant has stated that there will be food vendors, that there will be food for sale. I believe the application states 6 for each event. The authorization, as contained in the resolution, does so provide the ability for Lazlos to have these food vendors. It's my understanding that the council, as it relates to condition, I want to say probably number 8, 9, and 10. I'm sorry, 8 and 9, where the authorization is granted. For the food vendors, it's my understanding that the council has a motion to amend R-051919 to modify that condition.
Yes, Mr. Council President, we'd like, or Mr. Chairman, we'd like to amend that we let them have the event with absentee food vendors for that event.
For both, right?
Food service for both events, for those both events.
Second.
Councilmember Egan.
Yes.
Councilmember Escobar.
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming.
Yes.
Council Vice President Socorro Ludwig.
Yes.
Council President Anderson.
Yes. Okay. Two.
So R-051919 will be so amended. The formal resolution will be prepared first thing in the morning on file with the clerk's office, and it will recite that no food vendors shall be permitted in this event, and no food will be served.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. Food service. not
Food
just
service.
Service, no service.
No food whatsoever.
Food service, correct.
Okay. The resolution will so reflect.
Okay.
With respect to the motion, you probably should have had a public hearing. Let's go back and open it up to the public. We'll modify the motion anyway, just because you did that.
Yes.
Okay.
I would like to modify and then refer back before the vote to public comment.
Okay. The first one, if anybody has any public comment on this Sunday's event, just this Sunday's event, in terms of having the event, allowing it to go, hopefully with no problems or anything like that. Anybody have any? Seeing none?
Move to the next vote.
We have to take another vote.
Yeah, take the votes again.
Okay, take the vote again.
Before the public.
Thank you.
On the first motion.
On the first. 3 to 2.
Everybody gonna be the same.
Okay. So Councilmember Egan.
Never know, might change.
Yes.
Councilmember Escobar.
No.
Councilmember Fleming.
Yes.
First one.
Oh, secret.
Council Vice President Socorro Ludwig.
No.
And Council President Anderson.
Yes.
Okay, and with respect to the amendment to R-051919, it's my understanding Mr. Egan has clarified his motion to not only include food vendors, but the serving or distribution of food of any type at both of these events, the August 4th event and the September 14th event. Is that accurate?
That's correct, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Okay, so if that's a motion that you so move, you could entertain a second.
So this, yeah, we'll do it. You make the motion.
Motion.
Second. And public comments, anybody about the next two events without food vendors? Yes, sir, name it.
Matt Smith, 123 Livingston Avenue. Just wanted, first of all, question, isn't the incident that occurred at the last event with this letter in question regarding Middlesex County?
No, we're not including that at all. We're only talking about the two that are upcoming in August and September.
No, I get that, but
That's
you know, these
That's
are,
all we're talking about.
so you're amending the permits to say that,
For August and September.
that's what I'm saying. And so the basis of that is assumedly because of an incident that happened at a prior event. And my question is, wasn't that incident between Middlesex County Health Inspector and the event organizer?
It was just one of them. It was on New Brunswick soil. Applications were made with the city clerk of New Brunswick to hold the event.
Right. So what's the basis then? What's the conclusive basis for altering the permits to say that no food can be served?
Worried about the safety of the people of New Brunswick and elsewhere.
Worried about the safety of the people because of a letter that's been not substantiated conclusively to do anything.
Not because of a letter, because of an incident that happened. There were vendors on that site and they did not supply permits.
Okay.
And there was food that was.
And so-
And there was food that was prepared off-site.
And so are any of those
Not legal
vendors-
in our city.
And are any of those vendors included in the permits for these upcoming events in August and September? Because isn't the issue with those food vendors then?
I think it's more than the food vendors, it also is with the organizer. You know, when you organize an activity, regardless of you're the ultimate responsible, right? Because you are the one putting your name there, the organization. So it's your responsibility as somebody who has an organization to make sure
that the vendors that you are bringing in, they have the information and they have and they follow what the city requires and what the county requires and everybody requires. So ultimate responsibility falls on the organization. The vendors, they did it wrong.
But they're not here. They were, no conversation or discussion about those vendors was put on the agenda for this evening. No discussion about their permits for a future event is on any future council meeting agenda, which is my point. This is clearly singling out one organization and one organizer, right? That's exactly what this is. And my point is it's extremely childish and immature that we're wasting city resources and taxpayer money singling out an organization because of political considerations. This is ridiculous. Oh, I'm sure you're very
Your opinion will have more.
Yeah.
We believe that some of the documents were falsified and not properly done, and we believe that Ms. Navarre and her organization are responsible for that. That's why we're sanctioning our organization.
And what leads you to that belief? What evidence would you like to?
Evidence. The evidence right here that I've been reading, and the video I saw. And the video. And the other statements. That's my opinion. I believe she's not been telling the truth about something.
So if you believe that there was,
She didn't follow what was supposed to be done according to the resolutions and the guidelines that are supposed to be done.
But my point
So
is,
I'm not done yet.
you're not enforcing.
She said.
Your legislation.
The people that were there to enforce it, they pretty much ran off the property. What exactly are you doing?
What are you doing?
You got a head problem?
What are you doing? You got an accent problem?
If you can't,
He's
do you
critiquing
have
me.
anything else, sir?
You work for me. Remember that.
Okay, you got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anything else?
You're welcome. If there's an issue with the food vendors, and if this is an issue, you are not the jury. You don't decide what. No, you're not. You're a legislative body.
There's a municipal court matter.
There's a municipal court. If there was an issue with the permit, we should get to the bottom of that issue. But I don't want my city council, my elected representatives, singling out a single organization and determining who gets permits and who doesn't.
Then run for council.
So you're going to do? No thanks.
Anything else?
Do it.
Yeah, I want to register the fact that if this is an action that the city council is going to take, then we need to bring the food vendors in here and have a similar discussion for them and actually talk about this. Otherwise, it's clear what you're trying to do, and it's unacceptable.
Before the next speaker speaks, let me just clarify, just so everybody will understand. This council has the authority to permit individual organizations to utilize city parks, which is public property, for this type of thing. It's similar to a driver's license. It's a privilege. It's not a right to use city parks. Those privileges come with certain conditions. These conditions that were placed upon an organization for purposes of utilization of the park are taken seriously by the council and the city, and obviously the Middlesex County Health Department when it comes to the health, welfare, and safety of the patrons who go to these events. That's what this matter is all about. This council has the ultimate authority to rescind or grant authorization. It doesn't have to grant authorization for any of these organizations to utilize public parks or roadways for any of this type of purpose. So, just so it's clear, there is no right to organizations to do this. Now, with respect to the council's action, I will state that the council's been very liberal in the past, from my experience, of granting permission. This, unfortunately, is a situation that was brought to the city's attention by the County of Middlesex Health Department, not something that we were even aware of at the time, and that's what brought this to light and caused the council to look into this matter. And as Ms. Escobar stated, it's the organization's responsibility to ensure that the conditions are complied with. And this is not a trial. If it was a summons under a particular code or statute, that would be adjudicated in New Brunswick Municipal Court. No one has been charged with a crime here. This is all about authorization to use a park, which this body has the ability to grant, to deny, or to rescind. But just so that's clear for members of the public who may want to comment. And another point, this is public comment. This is not cross-examination or continuation of this discussion. You could obviously hear from anyone who wants to speak for their 5 minutes, but there does not have to be a colloquy back and forth with respect to this public comment. So just so the council's aware of that, we got the ground rules in place.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
My name is Aisha Mobile. Has the city council attended any cultural events or activities in the past year?
Sure we have.
Did you go to the Gals at last year?
Sorry?
Or did you go to any of the events that Ms. Dubar organized in the past year?
I'm sure, I don't know if people have or not, that's certainly their choice.
No, but I'm asking.
I don't remember on my end.
What's the question?
My question is if you attended any of the events? So the answer is no? Okay.
I have.
You have? And what did you think?
Beautiful celebration of the cultural landscape of New Brunswick.
Right. So I went too, and I've lived in a lot of cities and towns, and I've never seen anything like it. I've been volunteering and attending and welcomed into Lazos with Maria, with Teresa, with all of the children who put together beautiful dances. I've never seen anything like it. The cultural, the dances, the costumes that they put together. New Brunswick is extremely, extremely lucky to have this. And the residents, the community is extremely lucky to have it. I think it's a shame that only one of the city council people has attended one of these events. And it's mind-boggling to me that instead of trying to encourage and help Lazos and Teresa organize these events, you guys are singling out something that may have happened and to punish her, to punish the whole community. I cannot even understand that a city council would encourage and help these events to go on.
The event is going on. It's the food part of it. We're not canceling the event. The event is going on.
Right.
It's just the food service.
So people are supposed to come out all day to event and not eat.
There's some situations that, some events that can happen. So, several times. But the event is for, just we're not canceling the event.
Okay, and then I mean, just the way that Teresa was spoken to was, how can you speak to a woman like that who's putting so much effort?
Me?
Yeah, yes, you and Mr. Egan. Why would you speak to someone like
I don't know
that?
how I spoke. I answered a simple question. Did you fill out the application? Was it my tone?
Yeah, your tone was extremely disrespectful.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to get a better tone.
Okay, I don't need an apology.
Listen, I don't want, listen.
Do you
We
know?
encourage people, how many council meetings have you been to?
A lot.
I've never seen you here before ever, to be honest with you.
That's because you weren't there at the last meeting that I was at, but regardless.
Okay, well, I've never seen you here before, you never come up to the microphone. All I'm saying is, we do encourage it, we grant everybody, we have a lot of people that come and use our parks, like Mr. Shanley said, it's certainly a privilege to use them. And we as a council feel that this organization did not tell the truth about their vendor situation last time. And we don't, listen, after those 2 events are over, they'll be glad to reapply again. We're not holding, this is not for every event that they have again. We encourage them to do the right thing, but we feel there has to be some type of punishment, reprimand. That's the way we feel. So we can go on. Like Mr. Shanley said, I don't want, you go ahead, continue what you want to say.
It doesn't look like you want to do any sort of encouragement for Lazos or the community, or that you appreciate it.
Why do we vote to have the event this Sunday? Why do we take that away? Why? Barely.
Okay.
Barely, but we still voted. I voted for having this Sunday.
Personally, I don't think that everyone should be thankful for what the little that you're doing and for the fact that you're punishing the community. I think that the city council should be doing a lot more to help and encourage what's going on. New Brunswick is so lucky to have Teresa, to have Lazos. The children are so lucky. These children learn so much, and they do such an amazing job, and I would hope that all of you would attend on Sunday and on August 4th, because you'll be amazed, and I would hope that it would turn your attitudes more towards encouraging more and helping, actually trying to help these events go on. Thank you.
My name is Ellen Witt, and I just wanted to address this because.
Your address, ma'am?
What's that?
Your address.
I'm in Highland Park, actually. But I did live here for 15 years, and so I've actually been very active in a lot of immigrant rights advocacy in this area. And I've attended the Galagetza a couple of times, which I'm sure if you've been there, you would know that happening in the park down by the river on basically cement or whatever that is on the ground, it's pretty tough to do that event and not have access to drinks and food. I mean, it's like setting it up to sabotage the event, I feel. And it's one of the, has been a real highlight here in New Brunswick. I have beautiful photographs of this incredible event, and you should really try to look at some of those things and think about what are you doing to this newer event. And then Cinco de Mayo, has been here for years, and the community really appreciates it. And so I would like to ask you to really stop and reconsider whether this thing could not simply be de-escalated at this point. It seems like it and could have been worked through, because this is not an organization that just showed up yesterday. This is an organization that has a long history here and that has worked with the community for a long time and has well-attended events. So why not de-escalate? Why not choose that? I also just want to make another comment, which does have a relationship to this. I was one of the organizers of a march and rally here in New Brunswick on Friday. I don't know if any of you attended it, around the demand to close the detention camps around the country. And I called the police, which you say she's responsible for things. I think you have some responsibility for the police department here. I called them to let them know about this event. And the first person who answered the phone, who was a police officer, asked me what the event was for. And I said it was for calling for closing the detention camps. And he said to me, what, for the illegals? And I said to him, this is around immigrants. And he said, yeah, well, if they're in a detention camp, they're a bunch of illegals. This is all on tape. It's all been recorded. Now, I've made a complaint to the police, and they are doing an internal investigation of that. I appreciate that they've taken that step. But I think when I, as somebody who's here, hears police saying something like that to me, when I just call on the phone to work with them, and then I hear a city council who's trying to take steps that will sabotage an event, whether you agree that it will or not, I see it as an atmosphere growing that makes it harder for those people who are immigrants living in this town to feel welcome, to feel part of the community. I'm a little bit nervous now what the police actually are saying in the community, and then everybody is going to know in town. You have the Galagetza, why isn't there food here? Well, because the city council decided that you don't deserve a permit this year. I think you should.
We did grant that.
That you don't allow the food. Exactly. And I think there could have been an alternative way. I think there still could be an alternative way for you to de-escalate this and consider making it possible to happen so that things can go well for the future. But the course you're on right now is making it feel like a slap in the face of the community. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Zach Bray. I'm an organizer, and I'm a frequent participant in Lazos America Unita's cultural events, and in addition, I do some organizing work at the center that Teresa and Maria and the rest of Lazos are nice enough to let us use it for. I really want to just talk for a second on behalf of Lazos. I mean, they're an incredible organization, like a few of the people who have spoken before me have said. They provide vital cultural events to the community, the likes of which you don't see in many other cities, towns, whatever. And this whole thing just feels like it's, I mean, Councilman Egan described what the council is doing as like, you know, a punishment, something that someone has to get for doing something wrong. When, you know, we have the rest of the council saying, well, no, we're concerned for everyone's safety. And to me, that was just like being, you know, tipping your hand a little bit. Like, we all know what this is. This is targeting Teresa, Maria, their organization, and trying to handicap their ability to hold another spectacular cultural event that, you know, like Aisha has said, the council should be doing everything in their power to support and promote. And, you know, I just want to say that I think that's ridiculous. I think that this whole issue, like, you know, the person who went before me stated, could be de-escalated, and there's just no conceivable reason because, you know, like someone said before, the vendors aren't being really questioned here. It's just Teresa, and it just, I don't know, the whole thing just feels totally ridiculous, and this should be dealt with in a totally different way. So,
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Sadiq. I've been here the previous time. I don't think Councilmember Egan was there. I'm an organizer with Lazos as well, and we're doing campaigns about evictions, tenants' rights, and of that nature. We voiced those concerns before because we care about this community. I myself went to undergrad here. After working somewhere else, I came back to now do my grad work here. So I have deep roots in the area, and I really care genuinely about the people. Yeah, I just wanted to echo what Zach said, what Aisha said, what Ellen said, what everyone I'm sure is about to say, that Lazos itself is an institution in New Brunswick that is surely lacking if it wasn't there. This is a community that is very Latinx, has a large group of people who are really in need of access to resources, access to rights even, say having, again, another issues like having Spanish language, interpreters and such, which are clearly missing from a lot of these sort of interactions. Myself, I was coming here to maybe just show solidarity, but I also wanted to just be, again, raising my concern about what I feel is a very aggressive tone that Councilmember Egan's taken towards Teresa, and even now he's smirking, but has had a very aggressive tone, and also a very, in particular, also a very, almost like a jovial kind of way, like laughing while people are talking, and really having their hearts broken about an event that matters to them. And seeing a council member who himself is, you know, I'm sure has worked really hard to get there, you know, it just seems very disheartening. And I just want to raise concerns about that as well. And yes, to you raising the point about running for office, I mean, that's a really interesting to say. I mean, in the better world, we'd have different people instead of you up there. But right now you're there, and hopefully when you took this oath, that was to serve everybody, regardless if someone's capable of running or not. I was really angry, I'm still angry at the way you talked to Teresa, to be honest. That's no way to talk to anybody. And also very upset about how you keep interjecting. Now you're quieter, it's good. But at the same time, you know, we'll be back to raise more concerns because there seems to be more issues than just what is obvious, which is the targeting of groups that are speaking up for marginalized people. It seems that there is as Ellen said, an atmosphere of intimidation, an atmosphere of condescension, an atmosphere of looking down on people who may not have, say, family members in assembly. So for me personally, I just wanted to say that we will be back talking about these issues and hope to have a better relationship there, but it needs to start with trust, and it needs to start with an actual understanding of the people in the community, not just those who serve in higher office. Thank you.
Hello. It's nice to meet all of you as my representatives. I actually live at 217 Hamilton Street, so I am a community member.
Your name, sir?
Oh, Carissa Cunningham. Yes, I'm also a PhD student at Rutgers as well in political science. So it's nice to see democracy at work. I also have worked with Lazos a lot as a community member, and honestly, it's been a really powerful, wonderful experience. I think that they are really serving the community and providing public goods with these events. And as a community member, the fact that you're taking away food from this event, an opportunity for people who come to this event to eat, okay, and drink, it's very hot outside. It's we, like, as the community, are going to suffer because of this. And I understand that you guys see this as a matter of security, but I didn't see any community members speak tonight about how they felt unsafe at the event. So I don't understand why we're being punished as a community, okay? Because it's not just Lazos that gets punished by this, but also the community at large. Because we all have spoken about how much this event matters to us. And I'm looking forward, as a newer community member, to attending this event. So, and also, I'll also say how seeing the way that Teresa was spoken to at this event was deeply hurtful, I think, to this community and to the relationship between this council and the community at large. And so I'm hoping that an apology will be sent to Teresa and to the community at large from the council as soon as possible. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Amy Brownstein, 16 Woodbridge Street, also counsel for Ms. Vivar. I have a few comments and then a couple questions. Just to recap, I believe that this all was stemming from a clerical error and a language barrier. Listing Elijah's Promise on these applications was a clerical error, which was reasonable in light of the circumstances. You have in evidence pages and pages of posts by Mercado Esperanza and Elijah's Promise promoting these three vendors as chefs within their organization. We provided a certification by Ms. Vivar, which stated that these three vendors represented to her that they were chefs within Mercado Esperanza and had access to the kitchen. And in her certification and in her testimony, Ms. Vivar stated that the clerk recognized these vendors and put them under Elijah's Promise. In her certification, Ms. Vivar stated that she received a phone call from Elijah's Promise the Friday before the event, but no message was left, and that she tried several times to contact them to get to the bottom of this misunderstanding, but was unable to make contact, but did in fact leave a voicemail. I believe this clerical error was compounded by a language barrier at Cinco de Mayo. For the record, Cinco de Mayo, it means the 5th of May in Spanish. It is a Mexican cultural event. There was reason for the city to know that a bilingual health inspector would be necessary, and I believe that it's a vast overstatement to claim that the inspectors were forced to flee. In Officer Chatterjee's memo from the 4th of May, the Cinco de Mayo event, he stated that he several times offered assistance to call a supervisor or ask if the health inspector wanted any action taken, and several times they declined. And in the video that you all saw, there were no threats made to the health inspector. Nobody attempted to touch the health inspector or made any hostile gestures. What I see in that video is someone who is becoming increasingly frustrated with the language barrier, and I think that there was, from that language barrier, this misunderstanding just escalated. And I think that I would request that you guys listen to some of the other folks who have spoken and take this opportunity to de-escalate. Since Cinco de Mayo, Ms. Vivar has been in contact with the county health department in an attempt to be proactive, to get bilingual materials to potential vendors, and to repair what seems like some tensions that had arisen. We provided to the council a letter from the chief registered environmental health specialist confirming their meeting and her attempts to get bilingual materials to assist with to facilitate the Spanish language vendors' ability to participate in New Brunswick events in the future. Let's see. In light of that, I don't think there's any public safety reason to cancel the availability of food at these events. And so my questions are, is there a city language access policy or plan in New Brunswick?
I don't know, I think they try to do a lot of things in English and Spanish all over the place.
And does you know if there's a county language access plan?
You got to ask the county.
Okay, I would suggest that the city, and I'll bring this to the county's attention, but look into the availability of, or the need for bilingual translators, especially at events where there's reason to know that the majority of the population is going to be not speaking English. So my other question, what can Lazos do to get permission for food permits in the future? Would it be acceptable to send the vendors directly to City Hall to fill out their applications?
I believe that the city clerk's working on, the city law department is working on different things, so that's probably one of the things to make it easier. Everybody individually would fill it out, and would fill it out probably days before.
Okay. So I would respectfully request that the council amend the resolution to require the vendors to go directly to City Hall to apply for permits to sell at the event, and that would, just pretty much eliminate any concerns about the application process. I thank you for your consideration.
I just want to add, prior, talking years ago, when I worked at an organization that we did big events, a Latino festival here in Brunswick, we didn't complete the paperwork for the vendors. That was, as an organization, part of the contract that they needed to sign was that they are responsible for the permits, they are responsible for completing that. So maybe that's a policy that Lazos can take and tell them, you are responsible for obtaining the city permission, and if something happens, you're responsible, because she had given the information. As soon as the information is given to them, but we, at that time at the organization, we took it upon ourselves to educate the vendors to make sure that they have the information that they needed. And having all of that information, if they didn't follow, then it was the responsibility of them. Ultimately, when they came to inspect, because the health department used to go and inspect the vendors, if you needed to be closed down, tell them you need to pack up and you gotta go. So we didn't go into back and forth, or I have this, or I have this permit. No, we just said this is, you gotta go, and that was it. So I would suggest maybe the policies that Lazos has to address those also. We will work on our side to make the process to see what it is, but I think that is also ultimately the organization's responsibility to educate the vendors and get that. And if you don't know, educate yourself so you can educate others to be able to get that information. Right? Thank you.
Thank you. Just a quick response. I believe that Ms. Villar has instructed vendors to attend food safety trainings and has attended them herself and is taking steps to make sure that these kinds of misunderstandings don't happen. And we will continue to do so.
Good, thank you.
Hello, my name is Tamara Vivar, and I have been a volunteer in Lazos America Unidas since I was 15 years now. I'm proud to say that I'm my aunt, nephew's niece, and my mother's daughter. And I'm a living proof of the struggles that my aunt and my mother have gone through this organization, and I know that it's not easy. And I know that over the past events they have done, there's never been a problem. I'm a living proof of that. And I'd like you guys to consider that how many previous events they've done in a health perspective has ever made a comment or something against it. This is the first person so far that has made a comment. And I'd like to consider, just if you take that person's comment and perspective of what that person experienced, you have to take my voice into consideration. I've seen a bunch of galaguetas, and there's never been no food. It's always been in it. And the galagueta for me is very important, because when I was 4 years old, I saw my first galagueta, and that inspired me to be a dancer. I've never been to Mexico, unfortunately, but because the galagueta is a way for me to connect to my roots and experience all the beautiful things that Mexico offers. And if you go around and feel in Brunswick, all of us are Hispanic. For us, this is very important, food included. And I think it's unnecessary and really harsh that just because of that one person, miscommunication or misunderstanding, you're making us have to suffer for that consequence. Yes, where there's certain errors made, yes, nobody's perfect. We all make mistakes, but we have to learn from them. And if we can't work together, there's no point in making changes because no one's listening to each other. So I really like you to take my words into consideration that you should consider having the food included, because food is just as important as our culture. I mean, come on, all the run, there's a bunch of music in the restaurant. You can't go to Galaguetza and just see the dances, the food is included too. The food is a part of our culture, it's part of something that reminds us from home that we're far away from. I've never been in, so for me, it's very great for me to be able to try the food that maybe I may never have a chance to go taste in Mexico, I can taste it here. So really, you should change your mind and take my vote into consideration as well as you to that person. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Lawrence Scott, and I am a volunteer and dancer for Los Angeles.
Your address? Just for the record. It doesn't matter whether you're in the Brunswick or not.
I've been around Lassos ever since I was born.
Your address, that where you live?
Yes. Oh, I live in Brunswick. As I said before, I've been around Lassos ever since I was born. I was raised with Lassos, and I was raised with Teresa Ibar. I am proud to be her nephew and godson. Last year, I've been part of the group Capuli Toli, and I've been dancing. This year will be my first anniversary of dancing. It's the Galaguetza. And as Councilwoman Escobar, as you said, you would see Galaguetza, you would know that there were children with their families. And without the Galaguetza, without food, it pains me to see that these children will go hungry. I have dance partners who are like 9 years old, and every time we dance, we have to give them water. If we can't supply water to them or give water to anyone, how can we perform our best? How can my generation and my generations, so on, to be in a hot day, seeing these dancers without food or any water? And in the Kapui, we are taught to be disciplined and to be respectful, and to see that a grown man just spoke to a 40-year-old woman, it doesn't make sense for us. How can these children take an example of that? And I've been around children who created choices, who done wrong decisions, to fall and collapse, who committed suicide, and I don't want my generations to experience that. And this Galaguetza is very beautiful. It helps my generation and the people to know where they came from, what makes them who they are, and remember where they came from. Lazo was also taking a summer camp, and these children are helping creating decorations, practicing dances for this Galaguetza. And as this video says, no one ever threatened or went up to the woman to put her away just from a feeling in it. And I don't want to see my generation to be in this situation ever again. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to speak in Spanish. My name is Marisela Bendito. Vivo en la 253 Highland Street y soy voluntaria de Lazo por más de 15 años.
I live at 253 Hill Street, and I've been a volunteer from Lazos for many years.
Quiero que se ponga la mano en el corazón
I want you to put your hand in your heart,
y reconsideren
reconsider
que en la Galaguetza se pueda vender
that in Galaguetza, the activity at Galaguetza, we sell food,
comida tradicional mexicana.
traditional food.
Mis hijas participan en clases de danza mixteca.
My daughters are part of the dance, Mixteca dance group.
Para los que no saben,
For those of you who don't know,
ellos bailan música mexicana tradicional de nuestros
they
ancestros.
dance Mexican folklore music from our ancestors.
Y eso es lo que yo les enseño a mis hijas,
And that's what I teach you.
que nunca se olviden de dónde vienen.
Never to forget where they come from.
Y para mí,
And for me,
el que ustedes tomen una decisión
that you took that decision,
de no vender nuestra comida,
no selling our
lo que nosotros hacemos, lo que nosotros preparamos,
what we make and what we
para mí es demasiado triste. Los niños bailan todo ese día
the The children are dancing all
con
the
las
time,
temperaturas que hay
the high temperatures,
y no vender comida,
and they won't be happy.
en que he ido a otros lugares donde han hecho eventos
I have been to other events,
y ustedes han visto que en esos eventos venden comida.
and they have food vendors there.
¿Cómo van a hacer un evento sin la comida?
How are you going to allow an event to go on without food?
Ustedes, mi pregunta es para ustedes, ¿ustedes han ido a un evento sin que no haya comida? Cuando ustedes van, cuando ustedes van sin probar ni un bocado. Para nosotros la galería eso significa estar con nuestra familia y enseñarle a todos nuestros hijos de dónde venimos y construir una mejor comunidad. Gracias.
Hi, my name is Jaime Lopez. I am a volunteer at Lazos, and yeah, I just wanted to speak about how
Your address.
Oh, I am coming from Princeton. Yeah, that's actually that's a pretty good segue into what I'm going to be saying here. Is because the reason I am here, you know, coming all the way from Princeton to speak about why you should allow this festival to proceed with food and sort of without this sort of punishment that you're putting on here, is that these events are very special. For me, my parents are from Latin America, and you know, the only thing I found in sort of the surrounding area that sort of makes me feel, you know, like I'm remembering my heritage and these sorts of things has been a lot of these events. They're very, very special to me and very, very special to a lot of other folks in the community. And I think not having food or drinks at this event would severely hinder it in a way that would kind of kill the heart of it in a lot of ways. And then the other thing I also wanted to mention is sort of the absurdity of this event, or this incident that occurred with the inspector, with Teresa and the vendors. The fact that this is an event whose literal name is in Spanish, and an inspector who cannot speak Spanish is sent to that event, and it leads to all these sorts of conflicts. You know, it's absurd. It plays into this much larger pattern in this city of crucial services and these sorts of things not being available in Spanish, which really hinders the ability of folks that only speak Spanish to be able to participate in these events. So that's my piece here. So you should allow food and drink to be served at that event.
Thank you.
Buenas tardes, yo también voy a hablar español, por favor. Mi nombre es Caritina y yo vivo aquí en Caritina Hernández y vivo aquí en Brunswick.
My name is Caritina Hernandez and I live in Brunswick.
Yo soy parte de esta comunidad y me he beneficiado mucho de Lazos América Unida, la señora Teresa Vivar, la señora María.
I am a member of this community and I have benefited a lot from the work that Teresa and Maria has done.
Sí, yo traigo testimonios de lo mucho que ellas han ayudado a la comunidad.
I am a witness of the good that they do for the community.
Nuestros hijos aprenden muchas cosas en su centro, no andan por las calles vagando, siempre ellas encuentran alguna actividad para hacerlos participar de alguna manera y olvidarse de las cosas bacanas.
Our children are very active members of the events and activities that they have at the center, and it keeps them away from any trouble out there in the streets.
Sí, también los festivales que ellas organizan, me ha tocado participar de ellos y es muy, muy bueno y agradable para nuestros hijos enseñarles nuestras culturas, nuestras tradiciones, nuestra gastronomía.
I have also participated in the festival that they have created, and we have brought our kids to be part of them, and it's a great event to expose our children to our culture, our tradition, and our gastronomy.
Sí, yo también quiero pedirles que consideren la posibilidad de que puedan vender en estos festivales nuestra comida mexicana, ya que todas las familias van a divertirse, a pasar un rato agradable. Estos eventos nos hacen recordar mucho nuestra cultura y es por eso que les pido también que por favor se toquen el corazón y nos permitan seguir con estas tradiciones, esta cultura y esta gastronomía en estos festivales.
So I'm asking that for you to please reconsider again having food vendors at the event, since that's the way that we connect with our tradition, our food, and our kids are able to enjoy as a family, so please, consider again having full vendors agreements.
Sí, también yo quisiera pedirles no, que no seamos más señalados. Y sé que Lazos es una organización mexicana y cuando la comunidad o ustedes hablan de que no quieren dejar que las comidas mexicanas se vendan, nos sentimos nosotros mexicanos señalados y somos parte de esta comunidad. No deberíamos sentirnos de esa manera.
She said, by not allowing our food to be served and sold at this event, we feel as a community that you are not acknowledging our Mexican food, that you are just acknowledging that we are the part of the community.
Sí, y yo quiero agradecerte por haberme escuchado y a Lazos por siempre apoyar a la comunidad, sin importar de qué país seas. Gracias.
Good evening. I'm going to introduce myself in English, and if you can translate for me, because I'm continuing in Spanish. Okay. My name is Carlos Castaneda. I'm a community organizer here in New Jersey and also in different states. Right now, currently, we are organizing around the driver's license campaign that's happening right now, which is one in New York. In different states are also fighting for it. So I want to go directly to the point. Esta noche estoy aquí porque escuché que no quieren o están poniendo ciertas restricciones, especialmente en la comida para este festival.
Because I heard that you are imposing restrictions, particularly to this festival.
Para todos nosotros que venimos de tan lejos,
All of us that come from far,
o quizás para los que nacimos aquí también,
or even for those of us who were born here,
la comida tiene un valor muy especial.
the food has a special value.
Cuando no estamos cerca de casa,
When we are not close home,
nos recuerda de nuestras familias y de dónde venimos.
it reminds us of our families and where we come from.
Y entonces es muy especial para nosotros el poder tener estas comidas y bebidas.
It's very special for us to be able to have the food and beverages.
Y en luz de este clima político en que vivimos ahora,
And in light of the political climate that we live in right now,
donde a nuestra comunidad nos están deshumanizando
where they have been dehumanizing our community,
en todo lo que somos y en todo lo que queremos
and
lograr,
everything that we have been doing and what we would like to,
les pido a ustedes
I ask you
esta noche
tonight,
el apelo a su sabiduría
I appeal to use wisdom.
y también que reconozcan la contribución que la comunidad hace aquí en New
For
Brunswick.
you to also recognize the contribution that our community does here in Brunswick.
Que quizás para algunas personas la comida es algo insignificante, pero para nosotros tiene que ver mucho con nuestra identidad y valor.
Maybe to some people food might have a significant value, but for us it's part of who we are, part of our culture.
Solamente también para resaltar,
Also to bring forth
la organización Lazos América Unida,
the organization of Lazos,
que es la que organiza este evento,
who is the one who organizes this.
es la única o si no una de las pocas organizaciones
It's the only one of the few organizations
que apela a la comunidad mexicana.
that bring forth, and is for the Mexican community.
Y no solamente eso, sino que está liderada por mujeres mexicanas de color.
They are led by a Mexican woman of color.
Y ellas por mucho tiempo,
And for many years,
aquí en New Brunswick,
here in Brunswick,
han podido rescatar
have been able to rescue
y mantener esa identidad
and to maintain that identity.
de dónde venimos
Of where we come from,
y también poder contribuir a esta ciudad bonita que
also to
vivimos.
be able to contribute to this wonderful and beautiful city that we live in.
Por eso les pido esta noche que reconcilien
So that's why I'm asking you today to reconsider
y que nos dejen saber de qué lado están.
and to let us know what's happening.
Thank you.
Good evening once again, Charles Prattville, New Brunswick today. I'd like to ask, whose idea was this investigation?
It all started with the Middlesex County, so.
We were contacted by the Middlesex County Health Department about an incident regarding an event that the city council authorized. That's how this whole thing came to light.
And just to be clear, there's no statute, state, federal, or otherwise, that required the council to conduct its own investigation, correct?
council has the ability to discuss a matter, an incident, an occurrence that may have occurred regarding authorization granted by the council at any time.
Not the question. Is there any statute, state, federal, otherwise, that require the council to investigate this the way you did?
I don't know if one off the top of my head, there may very well be, but in the interest of the public safety, health, welfare, and safety, when somebody says from the health department that vendors are there that don't have proper permits or credentials or cooking in places that are unknown, that's a concern for the council. So that would be the answer to the question, Mr. Cradible.
And to clarify, there is a municipal court matter, correct?
I understand there's a municipal court matter that was filed by the county health department.
Related to the very same exact thing?
Not the very same exact thing, no.
Okay. Unrelated?
Now, this council, as I described before, has the authority to grant the privilege to use a park for this type of event. That's not something that's going to be adjudicated in any municipal court.
I understand, but the matter that relates to this
I'm not going there with you.
has not been adjudicated yet.
No, that's a different matter. It has nothing to do with this. I know where you're going, Mr. Cradible. Let's not waste time with that. It's two separate things.
Okay. Can the council name, okay, well, so, Mr. Chairman was not able to provide a statute that requires you to do this. This isn't like a liquor license, right, where there's a liquor license. We don't have a liquor board in the city of Brunswick, so the council legally has to hold a hearing and do those things, right? That's required by statute.
True, there's no ABC board in Brunswick, so the council has the authority to issue renewals of liquor licenses, discipline licenses, etc.
And they're required to hold hearings when there's allegations of violations, right?
They have a hearing at this particular level, correct?
Right, and there's no such requirement for these types of things to be the topic of an investigation or hearing like we've had tonight. And
I'm going to answer like I did before. The council has the discretion and the authority to do what they did.
right, so can the council name a single matter or issue that y'all have voluntarily spent more time, energy, or resources investigating in, say, the past year or so?
I don't know, keep track of time.
Liquor license matters. Council, I'm sure, spends a lot of time reviewing their backup material for every council meeting. That's
how do you know?
I'm not sure. It's pretty thick, I would imagine. It takes a little time to get through it.
You see them go through it, they go through it?
No, I don't see it personally.
Okay.
But these particular applications, Mr. Cradaville, are made for these events, and that's part of the backup that the council reviews when they decide whether they're going to vote on a particular resolution. So if that information in there turns out to be something other than they thought after the authorization is granted, and that this council has the ability to go back and look again, as they did in this particular case.
Well, the reason for my line of questioning is I think that there are a lot of issues in this city far, far, far more important than this inquisition that the city has put together. And just even during the hearing tonight, I heard an allegation that I think is far more concerning. Ms. Witt mentioned the statements of somebody who was a New Brunswick police officer. Will the council conduct a similar public investigation into the allegation that a police officer defended concentration camps on American soil?
No, the police will do that.
Why not the public investigation for the city official who defended American concentration camps? Why not that be the public investigation and this be done, you know, outside of this space? We've spent hours dealing with this matter and nothing on that cop.
It's an internal affairs matter. It deals with the police officer. That's a particular set of rules promulgated by the Attorney General's office. There's no jurisdiction of this council to even consider any hearing or matter.
Well, I think now that you realize your powers of investigation, there are a lot more important things for you all to be investigating, including that money that you gave to DevCo tonight, despite concerns about their compliance with the prevailing wage. Millions of dollars going to DevCo, and you don't investigate that, but you investigate the people who try to put on events with free food for the community. That is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
discussion has to do with
Motion.
No, we need the motion for the.
Motion, please.
Councilmember Egan?
I need a motion as a second.
No, we did the motion second, it's a roll call.
Okay, Councilmember Egan?
to cancel the food for the two.
Councilmember Egan?
To cancel the food for the two.
Yes.
Councilmember Escobar?
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming?
Yes.
Council Vice President Socorro Ludwig?
Yes.
Council President Anderson?
Yes. We have a discussion of open space trust fund. This has to do with getting some money for playgrounds and things like that. around the city.
Council President, it's my understanding that Ms. Bradshaw is going to present on that item. Maybe we'll just let some of the people who want to clear so that you can hear. This particular matter is on just for discussion, with the potential for the council to adopt a resolution at a future meeting, which would authorize with respect to the ability to submit a public question on the ballot in November to see whether or not the voters in this particular city would be inclined to have the city of New Brunswick set up this open space trust fund. With respect to this particular matter, if it were to be presented to the voters, it would be a non-binding referendum. In other words, the city would not be obligated to actually set up the trust fund, but it basically tests the sentiment of the public as to whether or not such a trust fund would be agreeable or favorable to the particular voters in the municipality. Once that particular trust fund, assuming it was voted on favorably and assuming the council and the city wanted to move forward in opening up that trust fund and dedicating that money, there would be an assessment to all taxpayers in the city of New Brunswick to fund that particular trust fund. And that particular money is dedicated specifically for the acquisition and preservation of open public space such as parks and things of that nature. I know if you would like, Ms. Bradshaw to talk about a little more of the details. This is just a matter we wanted to put out to the council to have you think about it, have an opportunity to maybe answer some questions that Ms. Bradshaw may be able to answer. And then, assuming you're in favor of having this particular question on the ballot, we would act on it at a future meeting. Ms. Bradshaw.
Would you like me to read the proposed ballot question that would be used? Do you have questions? What would you like me to start with?
Yeah,
Okay. All right. So a proposal for language, obviously this is not official yet, but it will read as
Draft.
It's a draft, yes.
Thank you.
Shall the City of New Brunswick establish an open space trust fund to be funded through an annual levy of 1 cent per $100 of assessed valuation of real property for the purposes of acquiring, developing, and maintaining lands for recreation and conservation, including protecting the water quality of rivers and streams, preserving open space to protect from floods, and protecting the Raritan River, providing safe, clean, and accessible parks, repairing and improving existing parks, creating neighborhood playgrounds and playfields for youth sports, and for the payment of any debt service on indebtedness issued or incurred by the city for these purposes, subject to full public disclosure and review of all expenditures and a public audit every year. So what it's proposing, it's a levy of 1 cent per $100 per assessed value of an average assessed home. in New Brunswick that would go into a trust fund that is dedicated specifically for conservation and recreation as it relates to the parks. So that would be park improvements, like we just did a lot of them last summer. It would be conservation of our wetlands, things like that.
You have the 1 cent per 100, assuming the average, that's what about?
It'd be about $27 a year per homeowner for an average assessed home.
Now, just so the council's aware, if you authorize this to go on as a resolution, it doesn't mean we're actually adopting it. The resolution is thereafter forwarded to the county clerk, and this public referendum, non-binding public referendum question will take place on the ballot in November. When the votes come in, you'll have an opportunity to see how your voters, your residents here in the city of New Brunswick feel about it, and then proceed accordingly to your wishes and desires.
Anybody else have any questions? Mr. Bradford? Mr. Bradford? Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, we will go into public comment, and members of the public. Name and address, please. You have up to 5 minutes. One time up to 5 minutes.
Yes, I'm 133 Somerset Street. You know, I really have to laugh at the council due to where how they say no food because they want to make it safe. Wow, I don't believe that at all because wow, if the city really cares about making it safe, why do I have to do what I do to present the evidence to you to fight to make sure things are safe in New Brunswick? So yeah, I gotta laugh at you saying, wow, you want to make it safe dealing with food due to where what? It's hard for you to make it safe around New Brunswick where someone getting hurt or killed. That's a good laugh at the city on that. But tonight, I will say, basically, I'm here to thank for a lot of things that the city did do. I will say tonight, I think it will be breaking a record of having more thank yous than complaints, which is good due to where no one getting hurt. But I would like to start off same thing this year with the city and the mayor, with thank you for the free swimming lessons and the free play safe for our children. We do appreciate it. And also, I'm here to say thank you to the city and to the engineer department for Mr. Jeff's handicap spot on Laurel Street. He couldn't make it, but he did say thank you. And then also, thank you to the city for having PSE&G remove that broken pole that was right in front of his house due to where it just had, all they did was put string around it, right? Provide the evidence to you. I do thank you because that was dangerous. Then also I will say thank you to the housing inspectors due to where I have been seeing them out writing tickets to owners for having dirty property and I will say, and then also with the vacant buildings, I will say that thank you. I hope to continue to out there writing these tickets because like I said, New Brunswick is very dirty and filled with rodents. Thank you. Also, I will say thank you to Captain Miller where I had asked for the police reports for Frenton Sanford Street due to where that is a very dangerous area. He did provide me with the police reports of how many accidents that have been there already this year, 3, and then that was where I asked the city and the county. I don't know who took care of it, but I will say thank you to the both of you, the city and the county, due to where I had asked that they try to make it a little safer by trimming the trees, let the people see the speed, what the speed limit is. I see the police department and this, like I said, city did do something. Thank you on that for your help. Then also I will thank the county also for finally doing Somerset Street due to where now it is passable, nice and smooth where an ambulance can go through. But my main situation tonight, I do see that you have where they're gonna have something over to this park. My main complaint, that's Monument Square Park. Please, I hope the city will do something and the police department will do something. This is becoming a very dangerous area. You had a big incident there on Monday evening with fighting back and forth dominance. who, this and that. You have too many people drinking and doing drugs in that park. Wow, you don't even feel safe. And I say that because Tuesday, I'm walking through there, I witnessed Mr. Jeff, the parking, where he works for the park department. He was the report there to clean the park up. Wow, you have so many people sleeping there with beds, garbage everywhere, and then wow, he didn't feel safe. And to make it so bad due to where, like I said, so much fighting, drinking, wow, that was where they started throwing cherry bombs. Boom, boom, oh my, I wish you could have seen how scared it was where he had to call the police to leave. So please, do something with this park, especially due to where I see you do have an event coming up in September. So I hope you can put signs up, no sleeping, or do something to keep them away. Because like I said, too much with these drunk people, and I know you got to complain of sexual harassment from other people, but please do something with this park, with them sitting over there drinking, doing drugs. It's not good for our children to see. Then also, I did my last one. That's where I did want to ask. That was with Mr. Loughlin's promise. That's for Baker Park, the water fountain. When will that be done? Has it been done?
Down Baker Park, the water fountain. Do you know anything about that?
Actually, due to some complaints, I actually visited Baker yesterday. I noticed that the water fountain had not been changed, and I will follow tomorrow morning with the Parks Department.
Okay, thank you. And then also as well, due to where stadium at the baseball field, due to where that, you just took apart that water fountain due to where it is broke also. I hope you can look forward into fixing that one.
Yes.
At the stadium with the baseball field.
I will have a look at it, yes.
Thank you. Have a good day. Oh, okay, excuse me. I know my time is up. There's one more thing. I have to say I'm not guaranteed that I can make it to the next meeting. I have to get a procedure done on my back, but yes, I will, like I said, present this to Mr. Patterson. Like I said, once again, I do appreciate you helping make New Brunswick safe.
Okay, we'll get it to him.
And yes, I know you spoke to him about it before. Like I said, no guarantee that I can make it to the next one, but if you can present that to him, please. Thank you.
Good evening once again. Charles Prattville, New Brunswick today. The New Brunswick Parking Authority has a total debt of $390 million, a little bit more than that. Is the council okay with this? Is that a problem? Is that?
Are they meeting their payment?
As far as I know, they haven't defaulted yet, but that's a lot of debt. You know, the city holds far less, and the parking authority is supposed to be under the city, not this big
They've been down for a lot of years, so I mean, I don't think they've ever faulted on anything, so.
Okay, well, I know their commercial real estate business is not going as well as anticipated, and their credit rating did take a hit because of that, and I'm concerned about the future. Can you please ask Captain Miller how many non-fatal shootings has the department opened cases on this year?
Miller, you want to answer?
No.
Okay.
Well, that's absurd. Why don't we get to know how many shootings there were this year in our city?
As I've said time and time again, I'm not Mr. Cradle's personal statistician. If the council would like to know, they can make a request, and I'll be happy to put something together with them. But Mr. Cradle sends emails daily wanting me to do all his research for him, and I don't have the time to do it, and I'm not going to do it.
How am I supposed to research this without asking the proper person in the police department for the information? Is there another way that I can get this information? I'd be happy to not deal with it.
I'm very familiar with the open process of being over realized.
Thank you. Does the council care how many shootings there were this year? Do you want to get that information for us, or do I have to file an number?
We can always do it ourselves.
Okay, and will you share it with the public? What was that?
We'll see.
We'll see. Why don't you want us to know how many shootings there were this year? I mean, why is this, why isn't this, public information?
I'm sure Captain Miller will get you the information, Mr. Cradle. I don't see any problem.
That's not what he said.
He said, if you request it, he'll get it for you. He'll get it for you.
I have requested it multiple times in writing.
I will gladly, but if he just emails me saying, I want this and I want that, that's not gonna happen.
I asked two polite questions.
For clarification, because I handle the Oprah thing, if you don't mind, Mr. President.
Yes.
Certain matters of police nature are not subject to Oprah, and I think that Captain Miller and I spoke about this the other day. Mr. Cradible has submitted Oprah requests for certain information. This particular request that he has for this information will require research, which is not required under Oprah. It's not just a simple search for documents, specific documents. Mr. Cradible has requested information that will require research, and under the Oprah statute, it's not required to do research.
So the city police department does not keep track of how many shootings there have been? It requires research to find out? You're not tracking these things?
How does the city of New Brunswick keep track of the incidents that happen in the city, Captain Miller?
There's no way to just look up non-fatal shootings like Mr. Tyrell wants. It would require going through our reports and compiling a record, which we do
And
not.
that part means what is research, that it takes
That's
time.
research, yes.
So he's available for him to do that? That's available for him to do that?
No.
Huh?
No, we are not required to do his research for him.
I understand that, but would he be able to do that type of, that's not on the, I mean, he would be able to do that information.
He has a requirement report.
He could Oprah all the aggravated assaults and then do the research himself.
Fine. Water meter reader named Mr. Quinones suspended without pay. Is that relative to the scandalous investigation into the water utility with the billing scams?
Yes, it is.
Thank you. So I do appreciate the city clerk who does do a good job responding to Oprah requests for the most part, and I get most of what I'm hoping to get, much more than when I asked Captain Miller directly. And I learned, got the salaries for everybody in the city, and I found out the 65 highest salaries in the city were all men. Does the city council have any comment on that?
Maybe just the way it works out, hopefully, you know, women obviously can do just as good a job as men.
You know, considering that our fire and police departments are personnel that are mostly men, and most of the salaries that Mr. Krause was referencing are from police and fire, from our public safety divisions, I think your analysis is somewhat skewed.
It's 100% accurate. You can look it up for yourself. It's on oprahmachine.com. And you're correct. A lot of the highest paid people are police and fire.
Perhaps a more honest or a better analysis would be what are the top 65 by removing the public safety personnel.
Or we could factor them in since they're the biggest chunk of city employees, and we could look at actually the amount that's been paid out so far when you factor in extra duty and overtime pay, and you'll see that there's 119 men that make the most money. Number 120 is a female. And so I do have a very important issue that I need to speak about, so I appreciate just an additional minute. The zoning board held a meeting where they rushed through this project, the project I've spoken about before, and I'm very concerned about it because I did not receive the environmental impact statement. Could you please ask Mr. Dominguez what he told me after the meeting and when I'm going to get this? Because I was not given it in response to Oprah. The board went ahead and voted anyway, even though the public didn't have a chance to review the environmental impact statement. And now I was promised that I'd get it by the end of last week and haven't gotten it yet. So can you please ask Mr. Dominguez about that?
I'm sure you can talk to him after the meeting. Did you have anything else besides that?
One other thing.
Real quick.
Sure. So Mr. Dominguez also made a statement at the meeting, quote, all projects are relayed over to the Environmental Commission before they hit our Technical Advisory Commission. And if they have any comments, then they send them to me or relay them to our Technical Advisory. There were no comments received on this project as far as I can tell. I attended the Environmental Commission meeting last night. There were only 2 members that showed up, but the members said confidently that they never received any plans or any statements or any documents about this project. And I'm very concerned now in considering legal action against the zoning board because they moved ahead based on that inaccurate claim. What seems to be inaccurate is being disputed by the environmental commissioners themselves. And also, the public did not get all the documents to be able to review. So I feel that this was rushed through. This is a big problem. I'll follow up with Mr. Dominguez afterwards, but if there's anything he wants to say on the record, I think we should give him a
I'd
chance.
like to give a comment at least on this last component.
Real quick,
Yeah, sure. Before every technical advisory committee meeting, I email Mr. Manuel Castaneda, who is the environmental commission member of our planning board, a link to the available documents for all of the plans that are going before our technical advisory committee. I was unaware earlier in the year that that was part of the process. It's not a required part, but it is something that we've done. And I don't recall if Recon had been, their TAC meeting had been before I was aware of that information or not. But at least for the last 3 or 4 months, I have been readily providing this information to Mr. Castaneda to distribute to the board.
The environmental commission must be reviewing huge projects before they make it to the public hearings. It's ridiculous for them to not have gone.
Motion to adjourn. Second.
Councilmember Egan.
Yes.
Councilmember Escobar. Councilmember Fleming.
Yes.
Council Vice President Socorro Ludwig. Yes. Council President Anderson.
Yes.